In this week's drive, we get a view of what it takes to win in Formula One, kick some sand or snow in the world champion's face, race to the finish of a tragic Dakar, and see the two-wheeled magicians start a new season. All this and more in this week's Drive. Catalunya was the venue for the launch of the 2005 challenger for Formula One team BAR-Honda, the 007. Last year was very successful for the team as they improved from 5th in the championship to 2nd, thanks to Briton Jenson picking up 10 podium finishes, including 4 second places.
We've really progressed aerodynamically with the car. If you look at it, it's a beautiful car. It's very curvaceous, even compared to last year's. I mean, last year's car now looks 4 or 5 years old. It looks very dated, even though it was an amazing car. So, yeah, the car looks great. I just hope it performs as it looks.
It was BAR's best season, the team eclipsing former world champions Williams and McLaren, and finally shedding their reputation as big spending underachievers. The new car, in accommodating new aerodynamic regulations for this year, is smaller than last year's and is totally reworked under the skin with a completely revised engine. Engines must now survive the rigours of 2 complete practice and race weekends. Button demonstrated the BAR-007 for 3 laps around the circuit as the team begins the daunting challenge of trying to catch the dominant Ferrari team.
I think it's really shown everyone in the team how serious BAT and Honda are in becoming, in working towards their goal, which is to be world champions. I don't think anyone really realised it. The aerodynamic changes that were made initially dropped us 2 seconds off of our last year's pace. We also have some difference in tyres. We have to have 1 set of tyres for a whole race weekend, and different regulations for the engine. But even with all of that, I think with the technology, we've really progressed aerodynamically.
The team's second driver, Takuma Sato, is the only Japanese currently racing in Formula One. He's still seeking his maiden victory, but he was dogged by a series of mechanical failures last year.
It's difficult to say because we have also regulation changes which made the car a lot slower, but we have another significant step forward and the car looks beautiful and it's driving absolutely great fun. And I don't know, lap time wise it might be slightly slower, but in technical point of view, I think we improved a lot, and I'm sure the car is capable to do challenging big things in 2005.
There have been changes behind the scenes as well, as the new campaign sees a new man in charge. Nick Fry replaces former boss Dave Richards as team principal.
From our objectives point of view, we need to win races. We were second in the championship, as you know, last year. We want to win the World Championship eventually. We've yet to win a race, and to win a race must be our goal in 2005.
2003年から2004年にかけて、僕たちはものすごいステップを
We took a big step between 2003 and 2004. The season started with a lot of suspense and excitement, as we didn't really know where we stood competitively. But it turned out wonderfully in the end, as we got second place in the Constructors' Championship, and I got to stand on the podium. It was a solid season, full of experiences. I'm looking forward to the 2005 season. Of course, no one knows how far we can go, and everyone is striving to be number 1. But we will do our best.
45% の資本参加がいよいよ決まりました。
The staff at BAR seem very happy since the decision to acquire a 45% stake in the team.
やはりホンダがコミットメントを
This makes Honda's commitment concrete, and I hope that their motivation will rise even higher.
モチベーションもさらに上がるというふうに期待しております。
Honda's commitment makes them the 7th motor manufacturer with a major stake in Formula One. Meanwhile, the new Sauber Petronas C24 was also being put through its initial paces in Spain by Felipe Massa. His Canadian teammate Jacques Villeneuve would get his first drive 3 days later.
The changes from C23 to C24 were mainly dictated by the rule changes because the aerodynamic is reduced drastically. You can see it on front wing and diffuser, which is quite different. So we tried to gain as much back as possible on this side. And there's also a big change, which is the tyre manufacturer. We have changed from Bridgestone to Michelin now.
Massa drove for Sauber for the whole of last season. The Brazilian's best place was 4th in the Belgian Grand Prix. For the aerodynamicists in particular, the C24 represents a great challenge as the new rules give a marked reduction of downforce. Conspicuous in the C24's design are its side pods, which have an extreme undercut to achieve best possible airflow. The same is true regarding the exhaust tailpipes, which have been integrated into the bodywork. Massa is looking forward to having Villeneuve as a teammate.
It's very good for me to have an experienced driver like him. He's a world champion, and for me it's very important to have somebody like him. I mean, in terms of experience, I can learn a lot, and if I'm in front of him, it will be fantastic for me.
The C24 will be powered by the V10 engine, which is also used by Ferrari, but Sauber has returned to its own gearbox design, which has been made lighter, stiffer and more compact.
It was a good feeling, you know. I think it was no particular problem for us during the day. Some very small details to improve in the car, but you know, I think it was very good feeling for me and for the team.
In the Constructors' title last year, Sauber came 6th out of 10 teams. Elsewhere, Ferrari drivers Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello and test driver Luca Badoer took to the ice as they sampled the local karting track during the team's annual winter break. And for those that hoped the 7-times champion would soon retire, he revealed he was keen to get back to work and to defend his title.
About 3 months out of the car, with the exception of the Ferrari days. But yeah, I really look forward now. It has been a long winter, and the hangar is back again.
Apparently the new rules are on everyone's minds. They're intended to increase competition in Formula One, but Schumacher expects they'll have the opposite effect.
Any change actually will help the good teams, because the good teams, they react the best to any changes. I see no problem for us in that respect, and I think it's a big challenge for all of us to prove again how good we are.
The 4th driver was MotoGP star Loris Capirossi. Despite the friendly nature of the event, the Ferrari trio didn't hold back as they sought to gain the edge on their teammates.
I think it's going to be a hard season, that's for sure. It's going to be interesting, long, new rules for the tyre, just one tyre for the whole race, one engine for 2 races, so it's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's going to be more overtaking, I guess, because of the tyre. The one who treats the tyre better is definitely the one who can save a lot of time during the race.
After spending New Year with his family, Michael was in the Italian winter resort for some off-season fun with the entire Ferrari squad in what's become a traditional team-building exercise. Rubens was also enjoying the clear alpine air, but pointed out that skiing was not something he did much of at home in Brazil. Michael has personally pledged $10 million to Germany's tsunami aid efforts. One of Schumacher's bodyguards was among those killed when the tsunami struck Phuket in Thailand. Ferrari will only be introducing their new car in Spain on the 8th of May.
Thank you very much.
We pick up the second part of our coverage of the Dakar Rally as competitors plunged into the Mauritanian desert. Esteban Pujol won his first stage of the rally, but the day belonged to Fabrizio Mioni. The 2001 and 2002 winner finished 1.5 minutes behind Pujol to take the overall lead by less than 3 minutes over Cyril Deprez. Former downhill skier Luc Alphand won his first stage to close the gap on four-wheel leader, teammate and reigning champion Stefan Petterhansel. Alphand came home in just under 5 hours to shave over a minute and a half off Petterhansel's lead, still over 20 minutes. But there were a few others that didn't fare so well on the 361 kilometres between Tajika and Attar. Nasser Salih Al Attiyah crashed, and the Qatari driver was looking set for an early end to his rally after a second place on one stage had put him fourth overall. South African Geniel de Villiers finished 7th on the stage but stayed 5th overall. Veteran Frenchman Bruno Sabi, who won the Dakar back in '93, had wheel problems with his Volkswagen Touareg and limped in 49th on the day. This slipped him down to 9th overall, almost 7 hours behind the leader.
Now, Bruno, try to put all the bolts, put the short one also there.
Jutta Kleinschmidt guided her Volkswagen into 4th place and 3rd overall. On the 10th stage, Italy's Fabrizio Mione came in 2nd on a loop starting and ending in Attar in Mauritania. But it was Cyril Dupre of France who won the stage, his first stage victory of the race, over 10 minutes ahead of Mione, who was followed by Isidre Esteve 12 minutes later. Dupre moved into the overall lead for the motorbike event, ahead of double event winner Mione. But the day was marred by the news of the death of Spanish rider José Manuel Pérez. He was injured earlier in the event and died at a hospital in Alicante in Spain. After an accident on the rally's 7th stage, surgeons had removed his spleen and kidney, but the 40-year-old developed a fever and died. In the cars section, Jutta Kleinschmidt maintained her 3rd place, half an hour off the pace. Alphand came home again in 2nd place, harrying his teammate and losing out by just 87 seconds. Stefan Petterhansel came out victorious, finishing the 483-kilometre leg in 5 hours, 22 minutes and 58 seconds. He remains the race's overall leader, with Alphand 21 minutes behind. At the first refuelling checkpoint on stage 11, Mione and Dupre were riding together, the two veterans sharing the navigating in the trackless desert. But it turned to tragedy as Fabrizio Mione crashed heavily 184 kilometres into the stage. Paramedics arrived by helicopter within 15 minutes, but Mione's heart had stopped as a result of the crash, and despite frantic efforts to revive him, the Italian died at the scene. Once back at the checkpoint over the Mali border, the competitors were told of the loss of one of the greatest characters in the Dakar rally. Dupre, who'd moved ahead of Mione before he crashed, was deeply affected. The organisers decided that because of the remoteness of the stage, the riders should continue on a shortened leg, and the section was won by Spaniard Marc Coma. Mione, known as the African because of his love for the region and its peoples, was racing in the Dakar for the 13th time and had said that this race would be his last.
We heard the news this morning. After he fell, the medics unfortunately couldn't do anything to restart his heart. We couldn't do anything, and Fabrizio Mione passed away this morning.
Fabrizio nous a quittés ce matin.
It's very difficult to accept what has happened. I believe it's not just bad luck. There is something. Several months ago it was Richard, yesterday Carney, and today Fabrizio. There is something other than bad luck. The rally is very dangerous. When I was a rider, as I left my home, I thought, will I return in 15 days? I never said that to my family, but I was aware of the danger and the risks. When you're in the rally, you never think of the danger. You think you are the fastest and the best.
Difficile parlare di Fabrizio.
It's very difficult to talk about Fabrizio. He was a very modest person with a very big heart and a talented rider. He loved Africa because he said that Africa gave him a great deal in return. He felt he could give even more to Africa. He was the major force with his hometown Castiglione in Florence in Italy behind the building of a school in Dakar. It was a project that at the beginning was only for a few children, but then he realised that these people needed more help because they have so much less than we have.
Married with 2 children, Fabrizio Mione won the Dakar twice, the Tunisian Rally 4 times, and the Rally of Egypt 5. In honour of Mione, the 12th stage was cancelled for the bikes and the field was airlifted from Kiffer in Mauritania to Bamako in Mali, ahead of the resumption of racing the next day. Kenil de Villiers claimed his first stage win, covering the difficult 586-kilometre section in 7 hours and 21 minutes. Second was the Mitsubishi of Peder Hansel, who tightened his grip on first place overall with another consistent drive. Jutta Kleinschmidt couldn't build on her stage win of the previous day and finished 6th, to trail Peder Hansel by an hour and 18 minutes. It seems that only Luc Alphand can catch the reigning champion, but he conceded another 3 minutes to his teammate and trails by 23 minutes. Peder Hansel has won 4 times on a bike, and last year for Mitsubishi. In the truck competition, the Dutch-Belgian trio of Gerhard de Rooij, Tom Kolsul and Arno Slaats took the stage in their DAF, but they trail Russian overall leaders Ferdas Kabirov, Adar Balayev and Andrei Mokiev in their Kamaz by over 11 hours, with their nearest challengers more than 2 hours in arrears. The rally continued with a 370-kilometre journey from Bamako to Kays. Wearing black armbands, the 108 bike riders took off in the middle of the Bamako night on a 205-kilometre liaison to the start of the day's special stage. The first bikers started the stage just after sunrise. Cyril Dupre had to stop and repair a flattened exhaust. He lost time but was able to make up some of it, although the stage went to Andy Caldecott. The Australian posted his second stage win, crossing the line with 2 minutes 6 seconds lead on Fretenier and 3.5 minutes on American Chris Blaze. The overall lead still belongs to Dupre, over 16 minutes ahead of Mark Comer. Comer finished 9th on the day, while Dupre was 8th. Stage 14 took the remaining drivers and riders from Kays in Mali to Tambacounda in Senegal. The 630-kilometre trek would include a treacherous river crossing that would test more than endurance and driving ability. Ari Vatanen, a 4-time Dakar winner, took the honours in the car section, his first stage win this year. Stefan Peder Hansel avoided a big troop of monkeys on the way to a cautious 8th place. He stays on target for overall victory with a 26-minute lead. Jutta Kleinschmidt, the first and only woman to have won the Dakar and a former motorcycle racer, crashed and lost time making repairs to her damaged power steering system. She eventually crossed the line in 42nd place, but remains 3rd in the overall standings. Interestingly, the diesel-powered VW crews don't wear the hot, flame-proof suits, as the risk of fire is much lower. Brazilian Jean de Azevedo took the day's bike honours just 10 seconds ahead of David Fretenier, who moved to 5th in the overall standings. Cyril Dupre was 7th, 7 minutes off the pace, and remained at the top of the bike standings with a lead of 12 minutes and 16 seconds over Mark Comer, who's 2 minutes ahead of Alfie Cox. The 225-kilometre penultimate stage finished in Senegal's capital, Dakar. Esteve Pujol maintained his 4th place overall, finishing 4th as Cyril Dupre extended his advantage over Comer to 9 minutes and 45 seconds, clocking the fastest time on the stage. Dupre beat fellow Frenchman Alain Duclos by over a minute, with Andy Caldecott 3rd. Jutta Kleinschmidt consolidated her overall 3rd place as she ended up 9th ahead of the winner of the previous stage, Ari Vatanen. Second place went to veteran Bruno Sabi, bringing his Volkswagen Turbo Diesel home 57 seconds off the pace set by Nissan's South African driver Geniel de Villiers, who won the final racing stage in 2 hours and 21 minutes to consolidate his 4th place overall. Peter Hansel, who came in 5th, maintains the overall lead with a 27-minute advantage over Luc Alphand. Both drivers were careful not to damage their vehicles and took things relatively easily. The event covers 8,956 kilometres from Barcelona in Spain to Dakar in Senegal, including 5,431 kilometres of competitive special stages. The 16th and final display stage was run along the beach outside Dakar, and Peter Hansel again took it easy, setting off alongside Mitsubishi teammate Alphand. Peter Hansel merely had to complete the course to take the title, and the Frenchman crossed the finishing line in a time of 22 minutes and 9 seconds for 11th place on the stage. Co-driver Jean-Paul Cottret congratulated Peter Hansel on their win. Jutta Kleinschmidt, the only female driver to have ever won the Dakar Rally, finished the day in 3rd place to claim 3rd in the overall standings behind the impressive Alphand, who was driving in only his 3rd Dakar. Peter Hansel's total time was 52 hours, 31 minutes and 39 seconds, adding a 2nd car title to his 2-wheeled trophies. The remaining bike riders paid a final tribute to Fabrizio Mione, who was the 22nd competitor to die during the Dakar in the event's 27-year history. Kellen Walsh of the USA took the stage victory in 17 minutes and 17 seconds. Spaniard Esteve Pujol finished the day 2nd, ahead of Eric Verhoef of the Netherlands. Like Peter Hansel, Cyril Dupre carried a useful lead into the final day of the rally, and none of the leaders would risk failing to finish by taking any chances. Dupre finished the stage in 16th place, but won the overall title by more than 9 minutes from Mark Comer and Alfie Cox, himself just 22 seconds ahead of Pujol. The 2005 World Indoor Trials Series began in the northern English city of Sheffield in front of 8,500 spectators and on a circuit full of difficult man-made hazards. Home favourite Dougie Lampkin has dominated the Sheffield event for 10 years, winning on 8 occasions in the past, but he failed to reach the 3-man final and could only manage 4th place during his first time out aboard the new Montesa 4-stroke machine. Lampkin lost out to his teammate Takahisa Fujinami by 2 penalties. Spain's Albert Cabastany, who was making his first appearance since signing for Sherco, didn't start as well as he would have hoped, receiving 5 penalties in each of the first 3 sections, while the reigning world champion Adam Raga managed to get through the first 3 with 7 and Fujinami on 8. Cabastany had a good ride on section 4, which put him back in the contest with Fujinami, collecting 5 penalties and Raga getting 2. He would end the event 2nd, just 3 penalties behind Raga. All 3 riders then went on to pick up 5 penalties on section 5. Fujinami won both of his races against Cabastany and Raga, and Cabastany also beat Raga, resulting in Raga losing 2 extra marks and Cabastany losing 1 extra. Raga was then the only rider to get out of section 7 with his feet not leaving the pegs, but found himself losing 1 point on time. Sections 8 and 9 proved difficult for the riders, with Cabastany making a late comeback to snatch 2nd place, having ridden well on both, losing just 1 mark on section 8 on time, and 3 on section 9, 2 on time. Raga and Fujinami received 5 points in both sections, but it was too late for Cabastany, and his marks on time proved vital, losing him the trial to his countryman. Raga topped the podium in the first event of the year with a total of 27 penalties, with Cabastany 3 points further back in 2nd. Fujinami ended in 3rd place with a penalty total of 33. The next event in the 12-round World Indoor Series is in Marseille, in France. Finally, we pay tribute to the memory of Fabrizio Mione, a man who loved racing and Africa and her people. We'll be back next week with another episode of Drive.